Okay, I'm here with Kevin from Audi Anchorage, or is it Anchorage Audi?
Anchorage Audi.
Anchorage Audi.
Yeah.
And we had a nice
Anchorage, all the same.
Yeah, we had a nice chat earlier, and but I do want to ask you some questions before I finish my visit here, which was great, and I had a really good meeting with your service manager, Cody. He was great. Anyway, what I'd like to know is how are things going with the electrification up here in the north, and specifically with your e-trons that that you've been bringing in?
It's been going slow in some situations. A lot of it has to do with the still Alaska. We're kind of the last frontier. You can't really dictate to us what we're going to do. So the adoption into the program hasn't been quite as fast as it has been in some areas. And a lot of that has to do with the infrastructure. We, as our state, are very excited about being out in the outdoors and things. And the particular vehicles that we have that are electrified at this moment don't really lend to that.
Yeah, we talked about that even in my case.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't really lend to the use that a lot of them would have if you want to go out and truly
right.
recreate. Majority of the use of those and the majority of those we sell are just local, which is a perfect vehicle for around town. You can take it home and charge. You don't worry about it when you can do home charging as much as infrastructure around.
Absolutely.
So with that, and just getting and driving out of town, it's a 6-hour trip to Fairbanks. There's some apprehension as they develop that infrastructure. And really there hasn't been much at all over the last few years, and it's starting to ramp up some. Through state and federal government situations and putting in those chargers. So until we get to that, plus if they could, every family up here seems to have a pickup.
Yes, it's pickup country.
It is.
Yeah. Just like northern BC.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so because of that, whether you use the pickup truck or whatever, that's the vehicle of choice for if you clearly look on the street.
Oh yeah.
It's a good half of what's out there.
That's right.
And there's really no electrification yet, really, that in a truck standpoint that's allowed that, especially when we start reaching into the vehicles that are going to need to tow heavier equipment.
Yes, of course.
So when we start towing RVs, snow machines that you're looking for having towing capacities of 10, 15,000 pounds, and that's just not that kind of vehicle.
Yeah, and I was very impressed on that tour that we did yesterday, and they went around the airport area where they had all the float planes, and and they were saying that 1 in every 8 people in the Anchorage area owns a plane.
Could very well be. I don't know the particular numbers.
Well, that was from the tour guide.
We run both here at, as you said, Lake Hood, which is one of the busiest float plane airports in the world. We also have another private airport, Merrill Field, that's been around forever. This is also one of the busiest.
Right.
And of course our airport is one of the busiest in the world in that regards, especially from a cargo standpoint.
Yeah.
So we do like to recreate in the woods.
Yeah, now I mean here we are at the Audi dealership, and the majority of Audi doesn't make a pickup truck. You're selling premium passenger vehicles, and of course that's the market that you're in. And the people that you have sold e-trons to, how is the customer feedback from those of owners that you do have?
The customer feedback has been excellent. Audi makes a great electric vehicle. Performance-wise, fitting into the niche of how they want to use the vehicle locally, from an SUV, smaller SUVs, larger SUVs, sedans. But that is a great market here in town. And it's usually the second vehicle, so they usually have the pickup, and somebody's using...
Or a plane.
Or the plane, or the plane. In the winter, we could say snow machines, or snowmobiles, depending on where you're from.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, they've been doing very well for us, and it just depends on the market. When we start talking interest rates and things like that, because most of them are a little more expensive in some situations.
That's true. Yeah.
And so the payment structure has changed a bit over the last year and a half on them.
Yeah.
So still kind of out there in regards to figuring out the market from a used standpoint of those vehicles as they come back, because we've leased a lot, and so ultimately they'll be back with us.
Right.
So we're still determining what kind of market the used vehicles will have in the electric area.
But I'm sure that, like in my case, where I'm driving up here and I'm using a 5-year-old e-tron with 88,000 miles on it, I'm still getting almost the same range that I had when the car was new. So, that's one of the things that I'm trying to show up here. And of course, the cold weather is a factor that a lot of people are nervous about.
Cold weather is a factor. But again, for the use of most of the people using them up here, again, because it's, most of them are probably not traveling 100 miles
Right.
Round trip, so we don't have so much range anxiety in that. Where we have the biggest concern is that in getting the infrastructure at the house,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
then of course in situations where you don't own the house, if you're a renter, then as far as getting the owner of the
No, that's a good point.
the housing unit-
I've never actually heard that point before.
yeah, and then even in some condos, because of homeowners and the condos associations and such, it requires a little different,
Yeah.
some different approvals.
No, that's true. You have to go through a strata thing and all that, and sometimes the strata, they don't have a lot of electric vehicle owners doing it. But lately in Vancouver anyway, there's a lot of people that are owners that don't have an electric vehicle. They may think down the road they might, or maybe if they don't, they still vote yes for it because they know that it'll actually add value to their home.
Well, it gives you a different market.
Yeah.
Absolutely adds people into the market, and if you want to market something, you want to get as many people to buy the product as possible.
Right.
And so that would make a great deal of sense that the house is set up that if that's what you wanted to do,
Yeah.
it would be already there.
Yeah.
And or condo or
Yeah.
however.
And when you get somebody that's interested and you take them for a test drive, what's the response been?
Those that haven't really had any experience, extremely surprised. Those that have done a lot of research, it's exactly what they expected, if
Right.
not more. But definitely for people that haven't had a lot of research in it, it's big surprises in regards to the performance and the features that they in fact have, and the functionality of all the different amenities that exist, from mapping out where the stations are that you can charge if you were to travel around, and things that aren't necessarily on all of our ICE vehicles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now coming to the camping aspect, and I kind of brought on that a little earlier, this dealership has also a Volkswagen part of it, right? It's the
And
same,
Porsche as well.
And Porsche, so the Volkswagen family group. And of course the ID Buzz is coming out.
Correct.
And that has more of a camping outdoor feel to it.
Correct.
What's your comments on, are you excited about having the ID Buzz up here?
Absolutely. Any new product creates a lot of buzz.
Good one.
Anytime you can bring something new because of all the hype that they bring in, it's nice to have. And I do remember when I was younger watching the Volkswagen little Vanagons and little campers things that were going around, and it creates kind of a little bit of cult. And so we've had a lot of interest from people that remember it the way I used to.
Yeah.
And hopefully that we can continue that excitement as the vehicle arrives.
So because of this excitement on the ID Buzz, even though we're in an Audi dealership here, have you had a lot of reservations? Are you getting people to reserve them as they're coming in?
Yes, we have. So
That's
we've
great.
been
That's
allocated
great.
a few, and we have some people that have already stepped up and said that they were wanting. And of course, we can go in and change the colors and stuff to make them a little more unique for them. And
That's great.
It is a great thing.
That's great. I really think, especially up in the north, it's kind of a vehicle, like you say, where people want to travel, they want to go out there. I think the ID Buzz, and this is the vehicle that I would have loved to have driven up here, to be honest. I think it's it could be a new way to get your market, specifically in the north. I think that vehicle will do really well.
I agree. And again, a lot of excitement from people that were experiencing the Vanagon and those kind of things earlier, in the Volkswagen Bugs and the vans from years ago. So that nostalgia that takes place, which then brings excitement, is it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to it.
Okay,
to
good.
have it greatly.
Anyway, I just want to let you get back to work, and I want to thank you very much for.
No, thank you for stopping by and providing the insights of what you've seen, because it's valuable information.
Oh, good.
That
That's
we
good.
can definitely pass on to people, and it can eliminate some of the myths that exist.
Yes, there's a lot of myths.
Absolutely.
And if you ever have any, if you need any additional myth-busting issues,
Well,
I can definitely be
one of the things
happy
that you
to-
brought up that I never even thought about is, as you said, as you camp, if you hit the right RV camp, it's going to have the hookups
That's right.
that from the big motorhomes that are going to allow you to do the charging in it. And
That's
that's
right.
not something I even thought about until you mentioned it today.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much.
No, thank you.
Really, really
Thank
appreciate
you.
your time, and
Appreciate
it's such
you.
a pleasure to be up here. This is on my whole trip, on previous trips, I've been to see a lot of other Audi dealers, and I'm really happy to come to the only Audi dealer in the far north.
And it's a beautiful place that we have here.
It certainly
And
is.
they've did a great job in placing this in the right spot here
Great.
in Alaska. And
Great.
so we appreciate the people that come and visit, and especially those that come from out of country and
Yeah.
provide their experiences as well.
Okay, well,
So
thanks
thank
again.
you. No,
thank
thank
you very
you.
much. Okay.